If you're thinking about moving to North Atlanta, this might be the only video that you need. If you're trying to figure out the best place to live in North Atlanta, it really comes down to your lifestyle and what stage of life you're in. Whether you're a young couple with no kids, a growing family, or you're ready to slow things down and enjoy the quiet, we can certainly find something great for you here. Today, I'm breaking down exactly where I'd live depending on your situation, from luxury buyers to first-time home buyers and everything in between. Let's get into it. Let's start with DINKs. This is dual income, no kids. If this is you, you're probably looking for walkable areas, great vibes, excellent restaurants and bars, maybe some boutique fitness studios, and a mix of newer housing and stylish townhomes. You've got time, you've got disposable income, you want convenience, some nightlife, and a good return on your investment, not to mention a great commute because you can afford to live closer to that high-powered job. North Atlanta has a few pockets for this, so let's take a look. Alpharetta is an easy favorite. It's very commercial with a few residential areas on the outskirts. If you're living here, it's because you want to be right in the middle of everything. Avalon is the crown jewel, walkable, high-end hub of restaurants, shopping, bars, gyms, luxury living options, all wrapped up into social upscale atmosphere. You're also right off of Georgia 400, so if you're not working at one of the many tech companies based here, then your commute into the city is surprisingly doable. Plus, surrounding neighborhoods are going to offer a mix of townhomes, single-family homes, perfect if you're, planning ahead. And then just south of that, Roswell is going to be a blend of charm and character with a surprisingly lively social scene. It's not as modern or flashy as Alpharetta, but that's kind of the appeal. It's a little more eclectic, it's a little more historic, it's a little bit more unique. Canton Street is at the heart of it all. This is the historic walkable strip packed with restaurants, like really tons of restaurants, wine bars, breweries, antique shops, and weekend events that are going to make it feel like a real community hub. If you're the kind of people who value culture, charm, Roswell is going to hit the sweet spot here. The housing here leans a little older, renovated cottages, some really unique layouts, established neighborhoods, and some upscale townhomes popping up here and there. It's less about new construction and more about something that's not like anything else around. Now, if you want to be even closer to the city without actually being in Atlanta, Sandy Springs is going to offer a more urban, suburban vibe. It's not quite as polished as Alpharetta, or maybe not as charming as Roswell, but it makes up for that with just pure convenience. You've got direct access to 400 and 285, so getting into the city or just around it is going to be way easier here. This is a great fit if one or both of you are commuting into actual Atlanta, or you just want to stay plugged into everything Atlanta has to offer. There's also a ton of global, national, regional headquarters here, so at least someone should have a very short drive to work. There's not a ton of detached housing, only like 50 or so homes available at any given time, but there will be lots of attached housing options like condos, townhomes, especially around City Springs, which is their community gathering spot. Sandy Springs doesn't try to be trendy, but it's got just enough of everything to work really well if you're looking for location above everything else. All three areas offer solid property values, growing job markets, and a lifestyle-first focus that is going to make it perfect for the buyer who's looking to build a career and enjoy the freedom. Let's move on to families. Maybe you've got a couple kids, or maybe you're planning for them soon. What you're looking for is perhaps something a little bit different. Good schools, safe neighborhoods, plenty of parks, maybe a backyard. You want to be close to things, but not too close. Somewhere that balances community, convenience, and a lifestyle for your kids. North Atlanta has a handful of cities that work really well, so let's just check out a few of these. Cumming has become one of the top destinations for families in North Metro Atlanta, mostly due to some of the highest rated schools in Georgia. Forsyth County is in the top 3 best school districts in the entire state and is home to multiple top 10 high schools. The new Cumming City Center is a big perk as well. Think restaurants, green space, walking trails, amphitheater, all rolled into one. It's fairly new compared to other city gathering centers around the metro. And also, you're close to Lake Lanier with tons of options for those weekend adventures. Neighborhoods here, I would say, have maybe slightly larger homes, just slightly, great amenities, and a bit newer construction, or at least usually well maintained. All that at a price point that's way more affordable than maybe an Alpharetta or Milton. The city has been exploding over the last 5 to 10 years, but there's still a bit of breathing room, especially on the north side. Fair warning, it's enormous, so make sure you know what kind of vibe you're going for, because proximity to all of the things is going to vary widely depending on where you're at. Then we'll head over to Cherokee County. This is going to be Woodstock and Canton. Both of these cities will have excellent school ratings, and both were placed on Safewise.com's list of 20 safest cities in Georgia. Woodstock is the more developed of the two. You've got a great downtown with restaurants and a lot of family events throughout the year. Neighborhoods are going to range from classic swim and tennis to some newer craftsman style homes. And the schools tend to rank well, with Etowah, Woodstock, and River Ridge High getting A ratings on niche.com and solid scores on greatschools.org. Canton is just a little further north, gives you more space and a little bit more breathing room, although that is changing fast these days. This is where you're going to find a little bit larger lots, newer subdivisions, especially in that northeast section. Schools like Creekview High, Sequoia High are consistently rated A and A- and offer really strong academic experiences. Now the trade-off, it's a bit further from the heart of the metro, but you still have quick access to 575 if you're going north and south, Highway 20 if you're going east and west, or 140, which is going to take you directly into Milton, Roswell, and Alpharetta, so commutes really aren't that bad. Finally, we're going to head a little bit south into Cobb County and highlight Marietta and Kennesaw. Now, they're right next door to each other, and the housing stock is pretty similar. Mid-size homes, a bit of newer construction, but mostly traditional brick homes built in the 90s. Kennesaw is going to get higher ratings for safety and tends to be a little bit more affordable overall, mostly due to the school ratings. Now, don't get me wrong, Kennesaw has excellent schools, but if you want the top 10 in the state ratings, those are going to be over in Marietta. Now, Marietta, meanwhile, is just bigger. You've got Walton, Lassiter, and Pope High School, which offers some of the highest rated schools in the entire state. A+ on niche.com, 10 out of 10 on greatschools.org. But it only serves a small part of East Cobb. Other areas of Marietta are going to feed into schools like, maybe Marietta High, which is going to get more mixed reviews. So depending on your zoning, the school experience is going to vary quite a bit. Okay, let's talk luxury buyers. You are the folks who want your home to feel, maybe more like an estate, not just a house. You're looking for space, elegance, privacy, custom builds, gated neighborhoods, maybe some golf, riding trails, definitely some acreage. And yes, location matters, but you don't need streetlights or sidewalks. You just want your own little sanctuary. Now, in North Atlanta, you've got two standout places for that kind of lifestyle. Milton is going to be the standout here, and not just because of the homes, which are incredible, by the way. They're going to have everything that you want: the square footage, the finishes, the yard, the neighborhood. But what really sets Milton apart is just how open it feels. This isn't a suburb packed with subdivisions and strip malls. In fact, the city has worked hard to keep it that way. Large lot sizes are the norm, not the exception, and there's very little commercial development here. By design, Milton wants to stay quiet, spacious, and a little rural, all in the right ways. You'll find equestrian estates, gated communities, and custom homes tucked away on multi-acre lots. Rolling hills, white fences, long winding driveways. It's about as close as you'll get to the countryside while still being 10 to 15 minutes from, the shopping, dining, and entertainment in Alpharetta. And that's just the beauty of it. You don't move to Milton because you want to be in the middle of all the action. You move here because you want to enjoy your space, hear the birds in the morning, and know that everything that you need is close, but not too close. There may not be a ton of things to do inside Milton, but that's kind of the point. And, that's what Alpharetta is for anyway. The other option is Johns Creek. This is for buyers who want something upscale, but a little bit more low-key. The city is super quiet, very residential, and that's exactly what, a lot of people are looking for. You won't find major commercial districts here, but that's really part of the idea and the charm. It's very neighborhood driven with a focus on high quality living, great schools, and just really well kept communities. The schools are among the best in the state and the parks are beautifully maintained. It was recently named the #1 best place to live in the US by US News and World Report, and it's also been ranked #1 best suburb in the US by Travel and Leisure. Housing here tends to be a bit newer, but at least very well maintained. You're gonna find gated communities, luxury swim and tennis neighborhoods, definitely a lot of golf course homes, and large single family homes with, professional landscaping, plenty of curb appeal. It's less about space and acreage and more about community feel and consistency. Everything just looks really nice here. And because Johns Creek is essentially an extension of Alpharetta, you still get access to all the restaurants, all the shops, all the activity in downtown Alpharetta and Avalon. But when you come home, you're in a peaceful, quiet setting. If you're thinking about making a move, go ahead and take 30 seconds to fill out the connect form linked below. We can set up a time to chat, and I'd love to help you figure out which part of North Atlanta is gonna feel like home to you. And if you're still early in the process, grab the free relocation guide. It's packed with information to help you get started. Now, let's talk about empty nesters. The kids are out of the house, retirement is on the horizon, or maybe you're already there. Either way, this move is about lifestyle. You probably don't need as much square footage anymore, but you still want comfort, some community, and some convenience. Ideally with low maintenance and, maybe a little bit of space. Canton is going to be a great choice. It gives you that small town energy with enough growth and activity to stay interesting and give you plenty to do. Downtown Canton and the Mill on Etowah are bringing in new restaurants, shops, green space, and great events throughout the year. If you want some built-in community with amenities, there are tons of newer 55+ communities with lawn care included, plus ranch-style homes that make living on one level super easy. Add in a nearby golf course, Northside Cherokee Hospital, which is right there, and easy access to parks like Etowah River Park, and it really checks a lot of boxes. Ball Ground just north of Canton is a little bit more under the radar, but worth a look, especially if you're looking for acreage. It's smaller, quieter, and has that classic Main Street area. The pace of life here is definitely slower, but that's the point. This is where you go to find that piece of land that you've always thought about and it's finally time to get. You're close enough to Canton and Cumming for shopping and errands, but far enough away that you feel like you've got room to breathe. There's also new construction going up on the outskirts with, some more affordable pricing and way less density than you're gonna find further south. Where you end up in this stage of life is certainly determined by the sort of lifestyle that you're looking for, but I think these two should definitely be on your list. Let's finish up with first-time home buyers and or budget-conscious movers. If this is you, the goal is simple. Stretch your dollar without sacrificing quality of life. Now, affordability means different things to different people, but for this conversation, let's call it $350 and under. The good news is North Atlanta still has a few pockets where that's still possible. Cartersville is one of the best values in the region. It's further out, yes, but that's what keeps the home prices lower. You can still find single-family homes under $350,000, and we're not talking about teardowns either. There are even some new construction homes in the $300 range. Downtown Cartersville has a ton of character with a very walkable square, restaurants, even a few museums. Certainly one of the more underrated downtowns, and I think it deserves way more attention. It's definitely more small town than suburban, but that's the appeal. Affordable housing and lower property taxes without the Metro Atlanta price tag. Then Dallas is the other solid pick. This is in Paulding County, and it's one of the fastest growing areas in the outer suburbs. You'll find a lot of newer construction here. Subdivisions with decent square footage, 2-car garages, and some standard amenities like, pool, playgrounds. Schools are generally mid-tier, but improving fast thanks to all the growth. Paulding High, North Paulding High, East Paulding High, they're all gonna get B's on niche.com. Plus, you're just a short drive from West Cobb, which is gonna give you a lot more access to the shopping and dining without actually having to pay Cobb County prices. If your budget is tight, but you still want to own, Cartersville and Dallas are two places where you can get in early and get a lot for your money, all while setting yourself up for long-term value as these places continue to grow. The truth is there's no best suburb in Atlanta. It all comes down to what's gonna fit you. Hopefully this gave you a clearer sense of where to start your search and what kind of lifestyle each area has to offer. If you still got questions or you want help figuring out your next move, I'd love to hear from you. You can take 30 seconds to fill out our Connect form and we're gonna be happy to reach out to you. Or if you just want something a little bit more low-key, there is a free relocation guide that you can download linked below. You can check that out at your own pace and time, or just check out some more videos. I'll see you in the next one.